today's are gonna be interesting. So you remember I made Killer Tyre? Well, there's also Killer Sofa as well, so makes it better. I read the synopsis of this and it's quite interesting and weird, but other than that, I think it's a low budget movie, so I don't expect good acting or good writing or whatever. But we'll just have to wait and see, so let's get on with it. The opening is just a man who is fucking with spirits, and a guy is like holding a weapon and he like prepares to butcher this man whilst he is like tied up, and the chair is just there staring at him as he dies. There's like 3 people in the garage and they're just looking around trying to find something like the sofa. Our main character is a girl called Francesca who is dancing at a gig with a band while they are like singing. The song's not that bad, but it just goes on for pretty much a long time, mainly because this is the intro of the movie. And then after she finishes, 2 cops show up and they want to ask Francesca and her friend Maxie, a guy called Federico, and he's dead. They like show a picture of the leg, and then the girls talk about how Federico was an obsessed, creepy guy and she filed a restraining order on him. According to her friend Maxie, Francesca makes a habit of attracting weirdos. It's like a weird thing that she has where she attracts a lot of men that come towards her. It's really weird. Even the cop is obsessed with her. So these 3 take the chair. One girl gets her hand jammed and it's like injured, and she seems like she's not like screaming that much in pain. She's kind of calm with the way she's reacting, like,
okay, you 2 go take care of that.
And then there's like a old man who is, I'm just gonna call him Grandad because I forgot his name, and he makes eye contact with the chair. Honestly, it's really funny when you just like look at the chair because like it has like eyes in that. Like, what the hell? Something weird happens. He's just in the woods, like it's in his vision where he sees a girl running, and then he's like on the floor passed out, and a guy tries to bring him back to life. So then we meet Francesca's friend, who is called TJ. Like, the reason why he's not attracted to her is because he's gay, so yeah, he's like the only guy who isn't attracted to Francesca. But what really confuses me about his character, right, is that him and Francesca look like they're a couple. Just by the way they like act, like the way the dialogue that she says as well is kind of like, it gives me a little hint like, are you guys in the relationship? But he's not clingy or obsessed, so that's kind of good. At least we have one guy who isn't like obsessed with her. And then the granddad thinks about what just happened. Like, he was in the vision and he's like, what the fuck was that? And then he reads a dybbuk. So for those who don't know what it is, it's like a malicious possessing spirit that believes to be a dislocated soul of the dead person, and it leaves the host body once it has accomplished its goals. He tells his girlfriend about what he just saw in his vision, and his father also had this vision too, so it's kind of passed on from father to son. And then Francesca's like in the shower and the chair like spies at her. So that's what I thought at first, but really it was just Maxine just wearing a clown mask who just casually broke in while she was just in the shower. But someone else was watching her too. So then Maxie leaves and the chair just stares at her from like a window, and then it disappears. Like, what? It's so weird. It's honestly weird. So then Francesca starts being fucked by the chair, and it goes on for way too long. It's literally just her being aroused by a chair. Then it turns out it was a dream, so none of that shit ever happened. Then Grandad watches like a video about this guy talking about the dybbuk and why you shouldn't read it. And he's in pain while watching this. Oh, look what the chair made her. So adorable. It might fancy her, which is weird. So she thinks TJ made this, but he sort of like goes, yeah, I made this. And the chair hates this. Federico was into like voodoo shit, and the inspector tells Francesca, who already knew about this. And they talk about the restraining orders because she filed a lot of restraining orders on these men. She was actually in a relationship with one of them as well, but they would sometimes get violent. So TJ is making dinner, and then the chair stares at him from a far distance, but it like slowly comes towards him, and it stabs him in the back of his leg. That wasn't even That wasn't even him screaming. That actually got me. So then TJ calls Francesca about what happened. So the inspector and Francesca go into the house, which is covered in smoke and it's everywhere, and they are able to breathe normally while smoke is entering their system. He suspects the chair did this, which is like weird because as an inspector, why would you suspect the chair's doing this? So Grandad calls Abba, who is his dad, about the dybbuk, but the dad ignores him, being like, no, you're talking shit, like this isn't real. And yeah, they have like a conversation where they're pretty much just arguing about the dybbuk and what he just saw, and then pretty much his dad isn't believing him. So TJ is at his mom's house and he gets a drink, but the chair finds him somehow, and this happens. Then TJ gets killed because his mother was too stupid to even hear his screams. And then Grandad's girlfriend is getting Grandad to go back to the scene where he saw the girl in the woods to get some answers. So he goes, and then he sees two girls fighting, and then one dies by committing the unthinkable, and then he goes back to life. And then this scene I just couldn't take seriously because like there was just so many weird edits, and it just left me wondering like, what's this got to do with a fucking chair? You know what I mean? So they instantly suspect that the chair is causing this because of Grandad's vision. They also refer to the chair as the recliner. They don't say the chair or the sofa, they just say recliner. And apparently that's what's causing Grandad to have these weird visions. So weird shit happens. Francesca goes and investigates because she hears something, but it turns out it was a dream. And then she hears something, and then she goes and investigates, and then sees the chair is alive. Oh wow, that was really scary. Wow, a chair moved to the side. Wow, really scary. I'm definitely scared. And then she calls Maxie to look at the chair, and she can't see anything. And then Francesca's like, I refuse to stay. So they leave as the chair stares at them from a distance. So TJ's mother is just like vacuuming, and then she tries to call TJ, and she sees that TJ has been killed because his corpse is in the vacuum cleaner, which I can't show. So pretty much just imagine like imagine you blend something, right? You're blending like a fruit or something in the blending machine. That's what TJ's dead body looks like, and it's disgusting. So there's another creepy man who goes to Francesca's house and wants to marry her, and she's like, no, I'm too young to get married. The inspector calls Francesca and Maxine about TJ's death, and then Maxie suspects that her cousin Ralph, this guy, is the person who killed TJ. He breaks into her house, and then he just starts touching some of her stuff, looking around. He sees her bra and her hat. He starts humping them in the bed as the chair sees this because it does a little peek, and then it comes towards him with an iron and then kills him. So Francesca decides to send her best friend to her death by checking the place out while she calls her sister because she forgot her sister's birthday and she wants to wish her a happy birthday. So then Grandad tells Maxie that your best friend is in danger because the chair is possessed. Maxie just goes into the house and she sees the dead cousin being dragged away and thrown over a balcony by the chair. How? He doesn't have fucking arms. Like, how the hell is he able to do that? Maxine makes a noise and the chair sees her and knows that she's in the house. It tries to stop her, but she escapes, but she jumps into the bin and then she's unconscious in the bin. I honestly didn't think it would get more silly, but the chair starts walking. It starts walking and then it communicates with Francesca in the sink. So the inspector are back and they go and look for Maxine, who is still missing. Like, she's still in the bin for some reason. I know she's unconscious, but like, She landed in bin bags, so there's a likely chance she would have probably survived the fall. So they don't find her, but they find her dead cousin's lifeless body, and the chair says Valerie. First of all, who the fuck is Valerie? Like, who is that? And then Francesca hears this and then runs off because she's freaked out, and then she leaves the inspectors behind, and then she's on a cliff, and Grandad contacts her and wants to talk to her about the chair and what it is. So it turns out there was like these two French couple in the 1800s who performed witchcraft, and they used highly toxic petals of Nerum olander to poison their victim. They like put it in like a tea, and they put the petal in the tea, and it was like a poison. And they got caught and chased by a bunch of mobs, and the guy was burnt alive because he was caught. But the girl Valerie committed the unthinkable in front of this woman, who is Marie St. Clair, who is Francesca's ancestor, who suffered from hallucinations and was possessed by Valerie's spirit. Valerie also had the same sort of problem that Francesca had, which is attracting a lot of men. So now that Valerie has killed herself, her spirit has gone into Francesca's great-great-grandmother, and now she has the spirit in her, and she also attracts a lot of men. And then so it gets passed down. So technically it makes Francesca possessed because she also has the spirit then, if she also attracts a lot of men. And then as for the guy, Gerald, whatever his name is, his spirit is also like out and about, but it's in that fucking chair. So his spirit's in the chair, and they are basically trying to Valerie's spirit and Gerald's spirit are trying to find each other so they can reunite into one. I had to watch this twice and write down notes because I had no idea what the fuck was happening, and that's pretty much the whole story, and that's what the chair's got to do with it, because the chair, because the guy is in that chair, his spirit's in the chair, and they're trying to find each other. There's like a portal, they explain, and then Gerald inhabited the recliner, which is why Frederico was doing his voodoo shit, like performing a satanic ritual sort of thing, whatever. So their plan is to put the dybbuk in these boxes and burn them to stop this from ever happening. So they want to put like the spirit of the chair in the box so that it can stop with this madness. But I don't know why he had to draw it. I mean, you could just say, oh, my plan is to get a box and just put the spirit in the box. Done. Why did you have to draw it? But anyway, after this, Francesca falls asleep again, because she always falls asleep, and dreams. Oh yeah, there's like a weird dream that Francesca has, and then the chair is just like smoking weed or some shit. Like, what's going on? Like, this movie is supposed to be serious, right? But I can't take this seriously with that fucking chair. Like, so Granddad's in pain again, and he's asking for his tablets, and then instead of giving him his tablets, she grabs the box and she's like, I know, I'm gonna get the spirit to go in the box, and then I'm gonna call for help. And then she just walks off and leaves Granddad to die, and I'm like, bro, help him. But thankfully, his girlfriend comes and she calls the ambulance while Grandad is just literally in pain when his meds are right there. So the inspector questions this guy about Frederico. This guy was from the beginning, I think. This happens while Francesca is driving back to the house. This man was the guy who Frederico asked for his legs to be decapitated, and it was urgent and there was no time. And we get another scene where the inspector finds out that Maxine's cousin Ralph installed cameras in Francesca's house and sees the chair move. So we've already pretty much established that the chair is alive, and it speaks to Francesca, and Francesca's like, get in the box, and the chair's like, no. He literally just says no. Like, what were you expecting? What were you expecting to happen? You were expecting the chair to go, okay, I'm gonna get in the box, and that'll be the end of it. Like, no, what the fuck? So this happens.
Get in the box. Please, just get into the box.
And then she tries to set the chair on fire, but she throws like gasoline all over herself. So I don't know what she's trying to do. Is she trying to blow herself with the chair? Like what are you trying to do? But then it approaches her because it stands up, and then she defends herself with a knife. But then as she does that, the inspector comes. This happens. Ew, what the f. It turns out that's Frederico in that chair. What's left of him actually, because his legs have been decapitated and his face has been. Why did he need to cut his legs to get in a chair? Like, what was the point of that? Then she sees another spirit, I think Valerie, I don't know, and then she gets possessed by another spirit, which is confusing because if you remember, I mentioned that she's already possessed. So how can she be possessed by something she's already possessed by? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, that's not how it works. But anyway, she gets possessed again. I forgot you were in this movie. Like, did you have fun in the bin, Maxie? What were you doing in the bin when your friend was in trouble? They reunite and then they hug, and then Francesca does like this really creepy smile, knowing because it's not Francesca anymore, it's a spirit that possessed her. Like, this girl's just unlucky. We fast forward to this unnecessary scene because the movie has to pad for time, and pretty much we've already got to the climax, but for some reason they decide to add this. They decide to add like 5 minutes towards the end of the movie where we just get the inspector back for a date night with Francesca, who is now no longer Francesca, but like another person in Francesca's body who is possessing her. And they talk. She gives him the tea that is poison, like the tea that has the petal in it, and he drinks it, and then so it turns out that Frederico was not only in the chair, but the Gerald dude was also inside of Frederico, and because Frederico's dead, like what's left of him that died, right? The spirit is still in the chair, I think. I don't know anymore. But it goes into the inspector, and now the inspector is possessed as well because Gerald's spirit is in the inspector, making him fully possessed. And then it turns out that the whole plan was Jared, whatever his name is, and Valerie were going to reunite, which they have done, but they're just trapped in two people's bodies, such as like the cop. Did I forget to mention this guy's name's called Bob Gravy? Just thought I should mention that. Maxine sees the video that Grandad was watching. It's just basically about the dybbuk and what it's basically capable of, and it picks targets. So then this inspector comes into the house, and then she dies because she gets stabbed in the back by Francesca, and then gets her neck snapped by this guy, and then now they are both possessed and they walk out while Maxine witnesses this. Then she goes into the house and then she calls the ambulance, and then as she calls the ambulance she sees that Francesca is in the chair's eye and she's stuck in it, and she falls into the abyss, which makes no sense because how would the chair still be possessed if it's gone into the man, because the man is now possessed? Like, this makes no sense. Do you know what? Who fucking cares anymore, because the movie's over. The end. And then, yeah, that's the killer sofa. What an interesting story. I don't even know what to even say. It was hard for me to even understand what the concept and the idea was, but then I realized it's a chair, so I shouldn't really care. I was gonna do a thing where I talk about the writing, the characters, and the editing and that, but you know what? I think I'm just gonna talk about it in just one go, because I can't even begin to even comprehend what I've just, or understand what I've just watched. Like, The whole concept and the idea isn't bad, but then you realize what the movie is, and then you realize it's about a fucking chair, and you're like, how am I supposed to take this seriously when it's a chair? But anyway, Killer Sofa 2019 is one of those movies that are like bizarre, like it's just work horror comedies that fully commits to its absurd premise. The plot gets overly complicated for the movie about a killer chair with a heavy-handed flashback, and that slows everything down. Like I said, like the whole idea and the whole concept is just made in a weird way. Like it was even hard for me to even understand what the dybbuk was actually about, like fully. I'd say the acting is like in the middle, because there are some people that actually are trying, but then it doesn't work well. It comes across as awkward, unintentionally hilarious. Like Bob Gravy delivers his line like a deadpan seriousness, which ends up being funnier than most of the film's actual joke, while there's just other cast members that feel stiff. And then we have the granddad, who clearly has a vision where there's like geniusly clever moments where the chair is meant to feel more menacing with nothing but a camera angle or slow pan, but the film suffers from a jarring mix of horror, drama and comedy that never fully gels. Visually, the film leans on simple practical effects like glowing eyes or quick cuts to suggest that the chair's movement, which works in its favour, but actual kill scenes are lackluster or happens off screen, so it's hard to it's kind of hard to take seriously half the time. Like I said, it's an inanimate object doing some weird shit and actually doing, it's just so stupid. I kind of like forgot half of the definition of the dybbuk when I was like watching the movie, because I did research what the dybbuk was and how it worked, and I was like, oh okay, but then the movie kind of overcomplicates itself and confuses me half the time, because I'm like, did this shit happen, or what's this bit, like, you know what I mean? I can tell you something, it is entertainingly bad, like thanks to the ridiculous highlights, like the chair spying from behind the curtains or from the balcony, you know what I mean? Like it's just lurking, like it is funny in a stupid way. You get the granddad who is over the top. It's like a really uncomfortable romantic bond with the chair. Alone it drags. It's just so weird. It's a very weird thing. They sat down in a meeting and they were like, I want to make a movie about a demonic chair. Let's add a dybbuk in it and turn it into something that is interesting, but we need the chair to have eyes and look like it's scary. We need a girl to sit down and look like she's being effed by a chair. And then we need another character that clearly is in pain every 2 seconds after he doesn't take his tablets. We need these people to look like they are feeling way too horny in this movie, because honestly, what the hell are they doing? I mean, I get it, the spirit is possessing them and they're doing some weird voodoo shit, but at the same time, it just looks weird and wrong. Combine them into one and we get Killer Sofa, horror movie that is just makes me question, why the hell did I decide to watch this in the first place? And do you want to know what really put me off watching this movie and why I couldn't take it seriously? Is because they made the chair look human-like. Like, why does he look so human-like? And it doesn't help that the chair talks as well. That's even worse. You know, I thought Rubber was bad, where Robert the tyre was using his mind, like, blow people up. But he didn't speak, because that would have just been next level ridiculous. But in this movie, it's talking, which is just so stupid. It looks stupid, the acting is like amateurish, but it's a low budget movie, so I'm not really surprised, so I shouldn't really expect much. To be honest, this movie actually has some okay cinematography. The locations filmed in New Zealand, which is quite cool. Like New Zealand, I've never been, but I want to go. I think that most of the budget went to renting out the house and this ugly chair. Other than that, everything else just looks terrible, really. I just say this movie's in the middle. It's not, I wouldn't say it was the best, because like I said, the concept is a bit stupid, but I've actually seen way worse. Like, this movie, it's not as bad. I thought it would be a movie to talk about because of how stupid the idea was, and I found it quite funny that the chair was doing a lot of stupid things. Like, I don't know, I just love to know what they were thinking when they had this idea and who approved it, and be like, yeah, we need a movie like this. Thank you for watching my video on this, and if you want me to do more of these weird inanimate object types of movie, just let me know and I will get them done. And if you like my video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.